We're in the beautiful state of Montana, Helena area specifically, and there's a beautiful mining operation here which mines American sapphire. And I'm sure when I mention this right now, all of you are like clueless to the idea that that Montana and the U.S. produces gems, and I would say some of the most beautiful gems in the world. They've been mined historically for many, many years. This particular mine has been going since what year?
2003.
2003, and it's run by a beautiful couple, Neil and Debbie. In addition to Montana sapphires, they also mine gold. They're mining it the exact same way that historically the founders of America built this nation. This is the old-fashioned way.
So a big part of this is making sure the material is both washed and actually loose enough to get the gold to settle to the bottom of the pan. And we try to keep the pan under water and loft the lighter material off until we get down to the bottom where the heavier stuff is.
So literally people were mining in this area in the 1800s as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how they actually found the sapphires here, is because they were mining for the gold.
That's beautiful. They were mining for the gold and found the sapphires. What were the years that they discovered them? Was it in the 1800s or?
It was.
It was in the 1800s. And here on this side, maybe you can turn it around. You can see the gold.
Give a quick example of what we're doing here is in this jig that the sapphires and the rocks and the material come in, it's dilating all this material, and we have slotted screen underneath this. And so the gold and the sapphires will fall and they get settled down on top of these steel balls. And so these are called tailing bars. And there's tailing bars all the way across. And that's where the sapphires will end up laying down on the bottom with hematite and magnetite. And so as we scroll down through this stuff, you can see the material gets darker and darker as we get further down. That's when we'll find where the sapphires are. Here we have some of the sapphires that we pulled out of the jig and a few different garnets. There's, I think, a ruby in here, which is extremely rare. Here's some that are cut, amazing cuts. And we have cutters that are all over the U.S. doing fantastic work. All natural American sapphires from the Missouri River.
I'm in El Dorado, the El Dorado Bar, as they call it in Montana. And I'm with a gentleman here called Cass.
So it's a family business. We've been here mining as a family for about 65 years now.
Your grandmother was one of the first people that was involved in the sapphire, correct?
They were looking to retire, and they wanted a nice little piece of property to go camping at.
Right.
So they got this little tiny chunk back at the Spokane Bar. And the story goes that when my mother was 7 years old, she was diving under the waves during a big storm down at the lake, and she picked up a handful of sapphire, or a handful of gravel, mind you, and there was a little blue sapphire in it. Well, she gave that to my grandfather, and he dug a test hole, and we've been playing in the dirt ever since. So 65 years of playing in the dirt.
So we love this all-American approach to mining.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of the mining that America was built on.
Yep. So this is the El Dorado Bar. This is the bedrock of the El Dorado Bar. This orange material you see here, this is bedrock. Our bedrock here is a shale. So, and it's a heavily mineralized shale. So all this orange denotes a high iron content. So there's a lot of gold and a lot of heavies that tucked into this bedrock. We take the waste material, the overburden, off first, and that will expose the pay dirt. We then take the pay dirt and move it away from the bank, and that's what we process.
Here we have an absolute beautiful and rare piece of Montana sapphire that comes from a primary deposit. Primary deposit means it comes from ancient volcanoes that basically brought up the sapphires up the ground. And here you can see that the sapphire is embedded in this material that is hard as concrete. In order to take this stuff out, you have to take it out through a concrete breaker, and it breaks it apart and takes the sapphires out. But the rest of the Montana material is actually from ancient volcanic sources that the water and just weathering has brought it down the rivers. And that material that we use, which is easier to mine, is the alluvial material, and that tends to be more rounded. But here is actually a real crystal from the original source.
Welcome to Montana. I know you have all come from different places around the globe to see this operation. This mining operation is probably the largest sapphire producer in the Western Hemisphere. Some argue this one in the world. The sapphires that come from Rock Creek, this deposit was discovered back in 1892, so it's not new, but the technology for heat treating was only developed in the 80s and 90s. So we've become the first commercial producer since the 1920s, 1930s. And what I've laid out here is a sample of this particular size category, showing what it looks like when we get out of the ground and what we do through the various stages. So I'll run through that.
That looks like it has a lot of iron oxide around it.
It does, because remember that the sapphires have been sitting in the ground for millions and millions of years, and they get iron stain and dirt on them. Some of the stones still have some of the bedrock attached to it, but that's pretty uncommon. Mm-hmm. By and large, this is exactly how they come out of the jigs, and they're quite dirty. So we use an acid cleaning process, which is quite caustic. It dissolves any non-sapphires, because we're picking at the mine site here, and sometimes somebody picks a quartz by mistake. So the acid cleaning not only dissolves the non-sapphires, it also cleans up the sapphires. And then what happens after we acid clean, then we get this not much prettier looking material. And this gives us material that we can sort. And then we sort this material, and we sort it into fancy colors. We sort it into flats, the different sizes. And then we also pull out the rejections. And then the balance of it, we heat treat, and you see it comes to this, which is, it improves the clarity and improves the color saturation. And then the fancy stones, we heat those, and we get this variety of nice candy colors.
No, it's really, really, really beautiful, and it's also really great to see the transition from, the raw state where it comes out of the ground, mm-hmm. and a little bit of help from man, giving it a little bit of heating.
Yeah.
Like you cook a steak.
That's right.
You end up having a beautiful color. All these sapphires have actually been running for millions of years from little creeks from all the different mountains around here. That's so cool.
Yes, well in fact the area we're visiting today is called the Sapphire Mountain Range, named specifically for the Rock Creek Sapphire deposit. And the hill we're on, the locals call it Gem Mountain for obvious reasons.
Yes.
So, shall we go?
Yep, we're ready.
Let's go. You can see how we have an awful lot of sapphires here. Some of them are below cuttable sizes, but I would say about half of them are cuttables, 3.5 millimeter and up. Well, the fancy colors represent less than about 8%. Of that, pink is maybe 3 or 4%. Pink concentration, it reduces radically as the size increases. So we get pinks in the small sizes. And from this operation, we've cut a total of less than a dozen rubies, so they're pretty rare. Deep blue is rare in the natural, but the saturated blue appears better after heating. By and large, most of these yellow and yellowish, greenish stones turn blue or teal color. So we've got the sieves there. We screen them after you pick them, and then we screen them all into different size categories. And then after they're screened, we send them off for acid wash. And you can see a lot of them have like sand or silt on the surface. Yeah. So the acid wash gets rid of that dirt stuck in the surface of the stones. Yianni and Steve, this is an area that has a great significance. In the background behind us, you'll see the cabins that were built by the American Gem Syndicate in about 1920, and they were pretty much abandoned by about 1935. They mined in this area close to 60 tons of sapphire from this area, most of it being shipped to Switzerland for watch movements at the time. Wow. And they were using small sapphires at that time. And this is the remnants of some of the operation they had here. We're in the meadows area, which is the flat-lying area. They never mined the meadows because of the water table. You dig down a foot in here and you have water. The old-timers had no pumps. The cattle graze here, and Keith and I have always said that we don't mind the cattle grazing here as long as they don't eat the sapphires.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
This is the North Fork of Rock Creek. Rock Creek's famous for the sapphire resource, world famous. And behind us over here is the Sapphire Mountain Range. And as you can see, there's fishermen up and down the Rock Creek. Locally they say Creek. Rock Creek.
Is that catch and release, or is that?
Yeah, all the trout they catch here have to be released.
Okay.
You're not supposed to eat them.
All right.
And that's so that the next fisherman who comes along has something to catch. Yeah, because it's a very popular fishing area.
So the whole area here, you know, if you sit in the water and you walk in the evening and you're looking for a little sapphire, there's the potential is there. You'll find a little sapphire here.
Yeah, I haven't done that because I don't have the patience for it, because we've got the jig running where we see them every day.
Right.
But some families come here and sit in the creek and with
pan.
their kids and pan.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that, but you can't do it mechanically.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's very important from our mining point of view to protect the environment, to make sure we don't muddy the creeks, because the fish are all important. This is a very important tourist destination. There's two major things that bring tourists, I should say 3 major things that bring tourists to Montana: fishing, sapphires, and hunting.
Oh my gosh. We have my friend Stephen here, who is I'm very, very proud to have.
So I wanted to ask you, when you mine, when you dig up, after you finished with that area, you reclaim the land? Is that what you do?
Yes, yes. Any time you apply and for a mining area or a small miner's exclusion permit, you have to post a bond. These are environmental bonds, so that if for some reason we're not here operating in a year from now, the cash is in the bank to do the rehabilitation. So we only get our bonds back when we fully rehabilitate the properties. And I'll show you some spots that we've rehabilitated.
You know what I've noticed? We both noticed it. You remember in all the piles that have been reclaimed, the plants tend to grow greener there, you know? And, you know, if you give them time, because the earth has been aerated, we see that all the plants grow greener there, and that made us really happy.
Yeah. Well, they require us to seed. So when we rehabilitate and grade it all out,
you also
seed it. We seed it.
Oh, that's great.
But we're not required to plant trees.
Right.
But within a few years, the trees are growing naturally.
Right, right.
So
oh, that's great.
The grass is growing within a year.
Yes, yes. So, Stephen, what do you think of the sapphire after you've seen all this? What do you feel, you know?
I think the Montana sapphire is a beautiful gem, mined right here in the U.S., so it's very unique. I think it symbolizes a theme of being like American, and because most sapphires were normally from different areas in the world, so it's very unique and it's just very beautiful over here.
Yeah, isn't it great? Like once you come here and you associate, you see all this, right? Whenever you see the sapphire, it almost makes you see the images of this beautiful nature, you know.